Day 2 of the camp out. Look at these boys making a teepee.
We collected the poles. Yeah, and some of them we had to chop down. Like, this one just got chopped down today.
Oh, it's a nice cedar pole.
Xavier, get a picture for me. Okay.
Yeah.
JJ, you been helping doing this?
This is when we had. This is when we
Full area through here.
Hey, let's try to put this pole in. Matthew, I think I should scoot this one a little bit farther that way. That sounds good. Hey, Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew.
There's a communal area.
This one back in.
Keep our fires over there.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Well, it's good looking. I like this.
Thank you. Dad, you wanted to build a TP, but you never got to it, so we're gonna build one for you.
All right.
We're gonna have a fire in the middle. Canvas and probably.
You know what? There's that giant red fir over here, and it's got bark about this thick and comes off in huge sheets. And y'all might be able to get it and start stacking big sheets of bark all the way around.
I was thinking we should probably use bark. I thought of this.
Yeah.
Bark.
Well, we'll come back and show you what it looks like in a little while.
This big.
This is pretty impressive. All right, here's the teepee they're doing, and they're using bark from a cedar tree that went down. Of course, there's a blanket. But these are huge strips of bark. I mean, there's Zev right there. I mean, look at this. This is.
We've got a bunch of bark over here that we kind of don't want to step on because the pieces that are bigger work better because when they get small, they can just fall right through the gaps.
Right.
So
They got the ropes up so that they can lean the bark up.
Matthew's back there with the machete just hacking away, taking the bark off the red cedar that fell down.
Well, let's go see what Matthew's doing.
And then as he hacks it off, me, Caleb, and JJ trying to help him break it off at the end and then carry it over here. This is a big tree that looks pretty cool bark with on parts of part of it. And over here,
Wow, look at that. They have stripped this big old tree just about down, except what's on the very bottom.
oh nuts.
This is a big cedar tree. Good looking tree. Just right here in the middle too. Man, that's gonna be, they're gonna get some nice boards or posts and beams out of that, one or the other. Oh, let's get up here. Walk the tree.
Fall apart completely.
You can both carry.
Yeah, we got a huge slab here, probably the biggest one yet.
I'd say that is quite ingenious, very ingenuitive, if that's the right word. Doesn't sound right. Anyhow, very cool. These young men they've been just having fun, building this teepee all day, off and on. And I think it started when their fathers and I sat around last night talking about, man, we really would like to do a teepee, do a homemade teepee, and or buy one. But seems very seems a lot nicer whenever you go out camping if you can build a fire in the middle and it's warm and waterproof versus cheap nylon that you gather condensation, can't put any heat inside. Basically a summer tent. But here's the creek right there running along, and there's down timber everywhere. Our friend that we're staying with, this is just cattle fence in here, and he owns going way up this mountain here, and we're towards the end of his valley, but it is gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. We've been in the 70s, which is highly unusual for this time of year. No rain. We got some clouds moving in right now, but it has been unbelievably gorgeous. And we got another Six days, and we're supposed to get cooled off. It's supposed to be 50 within the next 2 or 3 days for a high, but we'll make it. Well, it'll be fun. I think I think if it gets much colder, I may just get my blanket and keep a fire going all night and sleep right next to the fire, because it was miserable cold last night. But this is a lot of fun. Our kids get to come out and be kids. They're building a fort, or in there, really and truly, they're building a teepee, and they're having a blast. So here it is from a distance. I mean, look at that. That's a good sized teepee. That young man, the tall one there, he is just a little shorter than me. I'd say he's 5'10", 5'11". So that's a good sized teepee, and they're hoping to have that done tomorrow or the next day. And they actually want to put a fire in it, and I don't know if they'll be able to stay in it, especially if it's raining, because they don't have tent flaps and whatnot to do it properly. But they could still do it. I think they could. They've been working their tail off. Anyhow, we were having a good time. Had a good meal today, big meal. Crock pot lasagna, which was some of the best lasagna I've ever had. And took a bunch of steaks, potatoes, and all that. Made a big pot of stew. And just, it's gorgeous. I mean, look at all these tents. I mean, we got tents, and this is our communal tent, this big blue tarp. And we fit about almost 20 of us under there. All day, all night, back and forth, going and doing stuff. We're gonna do some hunting this week. Deer, grouse, turkey, maybe an elk. Heard cow elk last night behind us talking, so that was fun. So anyhow, I'll come back and show you some more later on. All right, they're out here in their teepee. It's not 100% completed, but they put a fire in it, and it's hard to really tell with this light. But they dug a pit in here.
This vent, and then we put some stones around it.
Let's see if I can.
The air vent, and yeah. Then one of the men who was camping with us scared us and said the rocks might explode and act like shrapnel, which did not sound appealing. Well, we got an air
Look
vent,
at that.
so
That's so cool.
it blows air into the fire to keep it
Well, here we are back at camp. Had a busy week, big week. Had the baby last night of our holiday, or last day of our holiday, I should say. But I never did come out and show you how far the boys got along on their teepee. And it ended up being one of the best things they could have ever done, because all the kids, all 10 or 11 of them, would come out here. They had their own fire, and the adults could stay over here and with our own fire, and you know, we could have our conversations, and they could be silly and play games and have theirs, and we all had a good time. So anyhow, here's their teepee. That's the door, the blanket. I think they did an awesome job. I mean, a bunch of 10, 11-year-olds, you know, boys, 8-year-old. There was a 19-year-old. I don't know if they ever finished the back up. It looks like they got the bark all the way around. One of them slept in here. The night, of course, he chose to sleep in the teepee. Was not a good night for it. Ended up raining on him, but he stayed warm. And here's the inside of it. And boy, did the kids trash it in here. This is my first time in here in the day. Oh my gosh. Well, they'll be in here cleaning this up. But they were having fires here in this pit they dug out, and they had a bunch of stumps in here at one point, and they just all sit around here. After a rain, they'd get a fire going, and it would dry up, and they were having a blast. They said it would get so warm they had to sit up against the walls, and they'd sing songs and play games and act silly and have a good time, you know. And it was really a blessing for them to have done something like this and get to play in it. So teepees, big fan. And of course, anytime kids get a bug in them and want to go out and build a fort and do all this type of stuff, it's good learning experience, and it's just fun. It's just fun. Any of you men out here watching this, y'all know we love going out. I made forts out of grass, bamboo, tree houses, whatever I could find. Me and my buddies were always building, you know, our fortresses, our areas of solitude that were only ours, you know. And it was a lot of fun. Here, I'll show you how we did it. Hey, Sandy. Yeah, this is Sanford. He's the one that allowed us.
Send me some steam.
Yeah, he's the one that let us stay out here. He's got 160 acres, and it's where the elk was shot. That if I haven't posted that video, it's coming up. And it's a beautiful place. Lots of cedar and red fir and streams and ponds, and it's beautiful out here. And
Lots of rotten punk wood that burns great except for smoke.
yeah, it smokes up quite a bit. That was one of the lessons, and I'll be doing a video on that, because I mean we had a hard time after about 2 or 3 days of getting good dry wood. So got to make sure we can find a way to get dry wood. But anyhow, this is the tarp that we used, the adults, and we cooked under, and we had it set up differently at first, where it was just a single rope down the middle. This came down in the back, and then we had this tied off to trees in the front, and it was just getting ripped apart. And just by adding a center line rope, it really helped out. And we had a place for us to prep our food on the table and store soft drinks and whatever else we were doing. And then we had our fire pit, and the tarp was high enough to keep it from getting too hot. We always had coals burning in here. Every morning we'd get up and still had a fire going. It was a lot of fun. But and this is a 24 by 40 tarp, so almost 1,000 square feet. So anyhow, just thought before we broke it all down, I'd show you what we did this week. Had a good time, and of course we had a baby, so that's a big blessing. So anyhow, y'all stay tuned, keep watching. Have a good day.